You know, we live in a world where we're just drowning in information, right? And it feels like even the simplest question can send you down this massive, tangled rabbit hole. Today, we're going to follow one of those threads and see how a single, simple query can connect completely different worlds.
So let's fast forward a bit. Picture this. It's 2026. You pull out your device and ask a super simple question. What is the heat? Well, the answer you get, it's anything but simple.
Okay, so first up, you might get this answer, the Miami Heat, the NBA team. If you're a sports fan, that's it, case closed, especially with Norman Powell having the season of his life.
But what if you're more of a movie person? Then the Heat probably means the hilarious 2013 buddy cop movie with Sandra Bullock and Melissa McCarthy. Yeah, a totally different world, a whole other meaning.
And then, of course, you've got slang. The heat could mean the cops are coming, or it could mean you're taking the heat for something that went wrong. It's all about the context, isn't it?
But here's the thing. In January of 2026, there's one answer that's way more urgent, way more pressing than all the others. And it's this one. The heat is a literal, record-shattering global weather event. And this is where our story really kicks off.
So just how hot are we talking about? Well, down in Australia, temperatures are skyrocketing past 40 degrees Celsius. And that number, 40 degrees, that's not just a number on a weather report. It's a signpost to a much, much bigger story that, believe it or not, connects every single one of us.
And that brings us from, the weather forecast right into the world of physics. We say heat wave, but do we really know what heat is? It's not actually the same thing as temperature. Temperature, that's just a measure of how fast particles are jiggling around. Their average energy. But heat is the total energy that actually moves from a warmer place to a cooler place.
So how does this energy get around? Well, it's got three main ways to travel. There's conduction, which is just direct touch, like a hot pan. There's convection, which is energy moving through fluids, like boiling water. And then there's the big one for us, radiation. That's energy traveling in waves, and it's exactly how the sun's energy crosses millions of miles of empty space to warm up our planet.
Okay, so what's the big deal? All this extra heat floating around in our atmosphere. Well, it has this massive ripple effect, and it slams right into the one thing that is absolutely critical for all life on Earth, our water.
And when I say massive, I mean the scale is just mind-boggling. By 2026, more than 2 billion people, let that sink in, 2 billion, are living in countries dealing with serious water stress. That's over a quarter of the entire world's population.
So you gotta wonder, where is all this water even going? And this chart, wow, it's a real eye-opener. A staggering 70% of all our fresh water goes into agriculture. 70%! That means the way we grow our food is by far the biggest piece of this entire water puzzle. Now, when you see a problem this big, it's super easy to just feel totally overwhelmed, right? But sometimes the most profound wisdom is also the most simple. This quote is just a timeless, powerful reminder about our own personal connection to saving water.
But, alongside that simple wisdom, we've built some seriously incredible technology to tackle this stuff. This is what happens to our water after it disappears down the drain. It's this whole amazing journey of screening, settling, using good bacteria to clean things up, and finally disinfecting it so it's safe to go back into the environment.
So we've jumped from a heat wave to physics to a global water crisis and now to this amazing tech. These are enormous, tangled systems, all connected. How on earth do you even start to make sense of it all, let alone figure out what to do?
Well, the short answer, it's all about data. Data analytics, to be specific. It's a pretty logical process, actually. First, you look back with descriptive analytics to figure out what happened. Then you use diagnostic analytics to understand why it happened. After that, you look forward with predictive analytics to forecast what will happen. And then comes the most important step of all, prescriptive analytics, which helps us decide what should we do about it.
And the tool that's really putting this whole process into overdrive, you guessed it, artificial intelligence. But AI is a huge term. Right now, most of what we have is narrow AI. It's brilliant at one specific thing. The big goal for researchers is general AI, a machine that's as intellectually flexible as a human. And then there's the sci-fi dream of super AI, something smarter than us in every single way.
And by 2026, AI is evolving like crazy. It's becoming agentic, meaning it can actually create and follow through on complex plans. It's multimodal, so it can process information from text, images, and sound. It can see and hear. And crucially, it's getting better at reasoning. It's moving from being just a tool that answers our questions to being more like a partner that can actually help us model these massive problems and find solutions with a kind of precision we've never had before.
And really, that brings us right to the heart of what this is all about. We followed this one thread from a simple question all the way here. And it just goes to show you, true understanding, real insight, it's not about memorizing a bunch of separate facts. It's about seeing the connections between them.
It's kind of like the city of Delhi, if you think about it. It wasn't built just once. It's this incredible city of layers, built and then destroyed and then rebuilt right on top of the old ruins for thousands of years. Each new layer adds to the story, but it's all connected. Well, our own understanding gets built in the exact same way, layer upon layer.
And that's precisely the journey we just took together, right? We started with a heat wave, and that single idea became the thread that pulled us through the physics of energy, to the global water crisis, to the data we use to understand it, and finally, to the AI we're building to help us manage it.
And all of this leaves us with one last big question to chew on. By 2026, we have these incredible tools that can spit out an answer to almost anything. We live in a world of infinite answers. But that means the challenge has totally flipped. Maybe the most important skill now isn't about having all the answers. Maybe it's about asking the right questions.